Welcome back. Breaking news this morning. Israel and the IDF launching new strikes against Hezbollah and its military commanders in Beirut, aiming to further decimate that terrorist group, aided, of course, by Iran. This following additional strikes from the U.S. and Israeli forces in Tehran's Evin district. Joining me now is the former Consul General of Israel in New York, currently Touro University professor, Ambassador Ido Aharoni. Ambassador, thank you so much for being here. I want to get your take on this operation. The IDF reports dropping more than 2,500 bombs on Iran with the United States so far. Your reaction?
Well, obviously, there's an informal division of labor between the Americans and the Israelis. The Israelis are more concentrating on headquarters, the decapitation of the leadership. The Americans more on infrastructural targets. But then you mentioned, of course, the expected intervention of Hezbollah, which gives Israel an opportunity to further destroy their terrorism infrastructure in southern Lebanon.
And so what do you want to see here? I mean, Khomeini is dead. 49 of his leaders are dead. What more, in your view, needs to take place here for you to feel like this was victory?
Okay, so there are three separate issues here. There is the nuclear aspirations, there is the conventional capabilities, and you have the issue of the regime change. All of it is tied to the issue that we, the West, neglected for decades, which is the motivations. The most dangerous weapon in the Iranian arsenal is their deadly ideology. And this was never addressed by the West since 1979. And for the first time, the West, headed by the United States, is addressing the issue of their deadly motivations, their chronic tendency to destabilize the region and go beyond the region. If you think about it, Iran destabilized the Gulf region, North Africa, even in Latin America, you find their fingerprints and their footprints. They made a fatal mistake targeting Cyprus, a member of the European Union, thus alienating the few European leaders that were still trying to prevent this war. So I think that if you ask me, all of the above, we need to cripple their conventional capabilities. I think this is being done with great success. We need to prevent them from being able to produce a nuclear bomb. I think this will be achieved. And regime change, obviously, is not something that you can design. Hopefully, we are creating the conditions that will bring about a regime change in the foreseeable future.
And of course, President Trump knew all of that and knew what to expect going in. He has been giving the Iranians plenty of time to go a diplomatic route. They did not and refused. Now that we see regime change is going to happen regardless of whether that was the goal or not, what should an Iran post-Khomeini look like? Who do you expect emerges here? Or what kind of person emerges here? Because you've got lots of different players here, whether it's Sunni, Shia, Persians, in terms of potential leadership.
So we have to understand the big picture. Iran is the largest Shiite country in the world, 90 million people. They are 75% of the global population of Shiites, right? There are 1.4 billion Muslims in the world, 85% of them are Sunnis, 15% Shiites. Of those 15%, 75% reside in Iran. So Iran is going to remain Shiite no matter what. The big question is if the opposition to the regime is organized well enough to take over and to do it swiftly, because it has to happen soon. If not, what we will see is probably someone from within the ranks of the current regime who is willing to talk to the Americans and basically to capitulate. Otherwise, this will continue until the very bitter end for them.
Ido, do you believe that the Abraham Accords can, in fact, expand? Do you believe we will see a time when the Saudis join the Abraham Accords and have relations with Israel?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I rely on two things. First of all, the existing Abraham Accords are still holding, despite of the so-called opposition to Israel's harsh reaction to 10/7. The funny reality is that Hamas has more support in the quads of the elite universities in North America than they actually have in the Gulf countries. So the Abraham Accords are holding. Not only that, Saudi Arabia is very consistent in its transition from an oil-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. And we see that Israel is a natural ally to Saudi Arabia in that process. So I believe the motivation is there. The commitment of the Saudis to their own strategy is still there. And I believe that this will happen sooner than most people think.
All right. Well, we'll be watching that. It will be an incredible day. And Ambassador, we so appreciate your efforts all of these years. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Ambassador Ido Aharoni. We'll be right back. Stay with us.